Revealed, billionaire president's wife discovers her hidden biological daughter, an amazing life-changing secret. Lisa Monroe adjusted her wide-brimmed hat as she stood in her sprawling backyard, the sun glittering on the manicured lawns of Oakwood. She was the wife of the president, someone revered in social circles, yet beneath the glamour lay a smothering emptiness. Behind the gated fences of the affluent suburb, Lisa felt like a puppet in a vibrant play, moving gracefully but detached, playing the role of a devoted wife and philanthropist. Organizing fundraisers and charity galas, she was like a figurehead, admired but rarely seen as her own person. That hot summer afternoon, she shuffled through dusty family documents in her attic, looking for anything to give her life new meaning. As her fingers brushed through faded paper, a photograph slipped out, fluttering like a leaf in the wind. It landed on the floor near her, a snapshot of a strikingly beautiful young woman with strikingly familiar features. Her heart raced. The woman in the picture was that her? But the truth was far more shocking. As Lisa learned the details enveloped in a cloud of secrecy, she discovered that the young woman was Emily, her biological daughter, tucked away and forgotten in a life that had spiraled away from her. Guilt bubbled within her like a sharp pang. How had she never known? What kind of mother could she be to let her child slip through the cracks of her carefully constructed existence? Emily, now 22, had grown up in a single-parent home, one that sat just across the tracks from their upscale neighborhood. A hard-working beam of light, Emily fought her way through life, buoyed by her grandmother, who owned a local diner adored by the community. Lisa's heart ached at the thought of Emily laboring while she played the role of the perfect political wife. How had her life become so disconnected from the very ideals she stood for? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she prepared to meet Emily for the first time, anticipation twisted in her stomach. Visions of the diner swirled in her mind, a cozy place alive with laughter, the scent of coffee and fresh pie wafting through the air. But the looming judgment of her peers settled heavily on her shoulders like an ill-fitting dress. They would not understand her desire to reach out. She could already hear the whispers of disapproval. As Lisa approached that diner, her heart raced, each step echoing with the weight of her decision. This was more than a meeting, it was a reckoning, a chance to bridge the chasm that had divided them. But just as she pushed the door open, her breath hitched. A familiar face stepped inside, one that could undo everything she hoped to build. Would she find the courage to embrace her daughter, or would fear snuff out the flame of possibility before it could ignite? When Lisa stepped into the diner, the atmosphere hummed with energy. The sounds of clinking dishes and cheerful laughter filled the air. As her eyes scanned the busy room, a rush of conflicting emotions overwhelmed her. A part of her wanted to turn back, to retreat to the safety of her pristine world, while another part yearned to break through the barriers she had constructed. There was Emily, standing at the counter, her back to Lisa, chatting animatedly with the waitress, her long hair cascading down her back in loose waves. Lisa took a step forward, the familiar smell of coffee enveloping her, gripping the edges of her resolve. How could she ever explain the absence of all these years? Wherever she looked, she saw reflections of her own life, the way Emily moved with confidence and grace, the easy smile that lit up her face. It was like looking into a mirror that reflected the daughter she had never known. Yet, this mirror reminded her of a painful reality, one that had been hidden under layers of privilege. Just breathe, she whispered to herself, feeling her heart thumping like a beating drum. Suddenly, her courage flickered. What if Emily hated her? What if she was met with anger, or worse, indifference? Lisa's mind raced with all the ways this meeting might go. But guilt clawed at her insides. How could she give up on the daughter she didn't even know? Taking a deep breath, she closed the distance and cleared her throat. Emily. The name came out as a soft whisper, but it felt powerful, filled with emotion she had buried for far too long. Emily turned, her laughter fading as she knitted her brow at the sight of the elegant woman standing before her. The recognition hit like a tidal wave. She looked just like her mother, a mother who had left without a goodbye. For a split second, time stood still, and the world around them faded to a muted blur. "Mom." Emily's voice trembled, a mixture of confusion and hope. She took an involuntary step back, suspicion flashing in her eyes. The word echoed in the diner, mingling with the clatter of plates and the soft tunes playing in the background. Lisa's heart sank. I'm so sorry for everything," she stammered, her voice thick with regret. "I've been searching for you for this moment. I want to explain." Emily shook her head, her expression a storm of emotions. "Explain? Explain what? How you just vanished? How you let me grow up without knowing who you are? Why now, after all this time?" Each question felt like a piercing arrow aimed straight at Lisa's heart. "I never wanted to leave you," Lisa choked out, tears brimming in her eyes. "I was young and scared. I had to do what I thought was best, but it was the worst decision of my life." The din of the diner faded into the background as the space between them hardened with accusations, yet within that tension lay the possibility of healing. Emily's eyes softened briefly, unsure of how to navigate this sudden twist in her reality. "What do you want from me?" she finally asked, her voice less harsh but still tinged with hurt. "I want a chance," Lisa replied, desperation etching every word. "I want to know you, to be part of your life." Emily studied her mother, pain and curiosity battling within her. The hurt was palpable, yet beneath it was a flicker of hope, a hope Lisa had almost crushed under years of silence. Before a response came, the bell above the diner door jangled, and an unexpected, familiar face stepped inside, a figure from Lisa's past who could unravel the fragile truth they had just begun to weave. "Lisa." The voice called, sending chills cascading down her spine. It was her husband, the president, who had sworn to protect their perfect image. How could she possibly introduce him to Emily now? In that moment, the weight of the world seemed to rest on Lisa's shoulders. Decisions raced through her mind in a flurry, forcing her to confront not just her identity as a mother, but also her status as a public figure. There would be no turning back. What would happen next? Would she reveal everything, embrace this new chapter, or let fear dictate her choices yet again? The room shifted as Lisa's heart raced, thumping in her chest like a hammer. Emily's startled expression mirrored her own inner turmoil, a tempest of emotions swirling around them. The very fabric of the moment felt fragile as their worlds collided. "Mom." Emily whispered again, distrust mingling with disbelief, but Lisa couldn't respond. She felt paralyzed as her husband's figure cut through the warm diner air. He was tall, composed, and radiated authority. It was the core of the image they had built together, a perfect life all tied up in public admiration. Yet here, amidst the chaos of reuniting with a daughter she had never known, that image felt painfully out of place. "Lisa, there you are," he called, striding toward her with a confident smile that faltered as he took in the scene. His gaze moved from Lisa to Emily, a questioning lift of his eyebrow. "David," she managed to say, her voice barely a whisper as reality hit. She needed to act fast, but fear gripped her throat. "Who is this?" he asked, his tone cool but his eyes scrutinizing. Emily was already tensing, her defenses rising. "Why are you here?" she shot at Lisa, her voice laced with accusation. The diner had quieted, heads turning at the unexpected entrance of the powerful couple. Lisa's palms became sweaty against the polished counter as she faced the looming crossroads. The clash of old and new life smashed against each other like waves on a rocky shore. "Emily, please." Lisa turned back to her daughter, trying to inject calm into the storm. "This is my husband, David." "I know it's a lot to process, your husband," Emily interrupted, her eyes flashing with indignation. "Are we just going to gloss over that? You disappear from my life, and now you want to introduce Mr. Perfect in a diner?" Believe me, I never wanted to do this in front of him, Lisa admitted, catching David's startled look as he staggered slightly back. What do you mean? You meant to tell her? David interrupted, his voice rising slightly, confusion mingling with irritation. I just found her, David. I didn't plan for this. There was desperation in her tone. The longing to make everything right screamed within her, battling against the desire to retreat into her carefully orchestrated life. Emily's hands were balled into fists. You didn't plan. You've been planning for years on how to not be my mother. It's complicated, Em. I'll explain everything, but please. Before she could finish, Emily turned and strode toward the exit, pushing through the door with a force that reverberated through the space. No. Emily! Lisa shouted, her heart plunging as she chased after her. David was suddenly there, his presence imposing. You need to tell me what the hell is going on, Lisa. But Lisa's mind was focused completely on Emily. She fought through the door, the cold air meeting her, stinging against her flushed cheeks. Emily! She cried, desperation in her voice. Outside, streetlights cast long shadows across the sidewalk as Emily paced, anguish etched in her features. What could possibly justify you abandoning me? She yelled, her voice a mix of heartbreak and anger. I can't change the past, Lisa said softly, her throat tight. Shadows danced around them, the night thickening. But I want to try to be part of your future. I'll do whatever it takes. Emily paused, the unshed tears glistening in her eyes, a hint of uncertainty cracking her armor. You really think it's that easy? I know it's not. But I want to fight for us, Lisa urged, her heart racing with a hope that felt both fragile and fierce. Just as Emily opened her mouth to respond, a taxi screeched to a halt beside them, the driver leaning out, eyebrows raised. Need a ride? He asked, breaking the tension with unexpected interruption. Emily looked between Lisa and the cab, the pulse of decision hanging in the air. What would she choose? Mom, she hesitated. The moment bristled with potential, a turning point looming large. Would she step back into Lisa's world, or flee from it forever? There was so much at stake, and the truth was still looming in the shadows, waiting for its moment to leap into the light. Lisa could feel the weight of her next words. Would they lead to understanding or push Emily further away? The air crackled with uncertainty, leaving everyone holding their breath. What would happen to their fragile connection now? Get in the cab, Lisa urged, her voice barely above a whisper. The urgency in her tone wrapped around them like a shroud. Emily's fingers trembled as she weighed the decision. The driver shifted in his seat, glancing at Emily, the steady hum of the city filling the silence between mother and daughter. You need to think about where you want to go, he said gently, sensing the heaviness. Emily blinked, tears spilling over as she met her mother's teary eyes. Why should I trust you? She said, the words catching in her throat. You didn't even stick around for my graduation. I know. And I'm so sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing back then, but I see now how wrong I was, Lisa admitted, her heart racing as she took a small step closer. I never wanted to hurt you. I was scared I was young and lost. You deserved so much more than I gave you. More than you gave me. Emily echoed, disbelief etched in her tone. I'm not some trophy for you to gather after abandoning me for years. This isn't just about you feeling guilty. No, it's not. It's about what I want to make right, Lisa said, desperation coloring her words. You're my daughter. I can't stand the thought of losing you again without even trying. Please just give me a chance to show you how much I care. Emily stood frozen, emotions swirling inside her like a tempest. How can I forget everything? You missed my whole life. I've had to be my own mom. And now you expect me to just what? Say hi and jump into a new life with you? Just like that? No. It's not just like that, Lisa replied, shaking her head. I know I can't erase the past, but I want to be there for you now. I don't want to keep lying to myself, pretending I don't care. I want to understand you, all of you, not just the kid I left behind. The taxi driver patiently waited, the chaos of the world outside fading into a hum as Emily wrestled with her feelings. The past loomed large, ghostly memories clouding her heart. Yet, buried within was a flicker of longing, a seed of hope that perhaps reconciliation wasn't impossible. With a shaky breath, she looked back at Lisa, whose heart brimmed with conflicting emotions: fear, hope, love. You really expect me to believe that after everything? Yes, Lisa replied firmly, her own doubts pushing to the surface. Because I have to believe it myself. That's how much you mean to me. The taxi driver shifted in his seat again, clearing his throat. No rush, ladies. But I've got a fare waiting at the airport. Emily's gaze darted back to the cab. Every second felt like an eternity, the decision weighing heavily. Would she climb into the cab and away from everything familiar to embrace this new uncertainty? Or would she leave, closing the door on the only chance she had to understand a part of herself she thought was forever lost? Mom, Emily said slowly, the tears cascading down her cheeks now carrying anguish and something almost tender. In that moment, time felt suspended, the world around them a blur as they faced the pivotal juncture of their fragile connection. Please, Emily, Lisa whispered, her eyes pleading, each heartbeat echoing through the suffocating silence. Would this be the beginning of their journey to mending their relationship or the end of hope? The decision was in Emily's hands. As she took a step forward, something shifted in the air, an electric charge of possibility. What would Emily choose to do? Emily felt her heart pounding in her chest as she stared at her mother, every moment stretching like taffy, pulling them further into a realm of uncertainty. She could hear the taxi driver lightly tapping his fingers against the steering wheel, the rhythm adding to her inner turmoil. Why now? She finally asked, desperation creeping into her voice. Why after all these years? I can't change the past, Lisa answered, her own voice trembling. But I want to start somewhere. I know it's not enough, but please, if you let me back in, I promise to put in the work. To be the mom you needed. Emily rubbed her temples, trying to process the whirlwind of emotions. She had always imagined this moment would happen like a scene from a movie, with wishes and tearful embraces. Instead, it was raw and painful, full of questions left unanswered. What if this ends up hurting us more? What if you just leave again? No one is going anywhere, Lisa assured her, stepping a fraction closer, her hands now trembling with uncertainty. I'm not just your mother, I'm your ally. I'm here because I want to support you, not because it's easy for me. The warmth of her words hung in the air, a fragile thread weaving them together. Emily thought about the years of distant memories, birthdays without the presence of her mother, the ache of absence at every milestone. You can't just slip back into my life and expect things to be the same. You don't know who I am now. I want to learn, Lisa replied earnestly, her eyes glistening with hope. I want to understand everything, not just the good parts, but the struggles too. I want to be a part of your life if you'll let me. Emily glanced out the window at the bright city lights blurring past. Each flash seemed to remind her of the parts of herself she had to learn to navigate alone. Could she really let go of that pain? Or was letting her mother back in just a new kind of hurt waiting to happen? I have questions, so many questions, Emily said, her voice wavering. But I also don't want to get hurt again. Lisa took a deep breath, her hands now reaching for Emily's, their fingers brushing together a timid connection. I can't promise everything will be perfect. But I promise to show up. I promise to try. Just let me in long enough to see if it could be different this time. The magnetic pull between them felt almost tangible, and with each heartbeat, the possibility of a new beginning breathed between them. Maybe we can take it slow. Emily suggested, the knots in her stomach loosening just a bit. Start with getting to know each other again. I'd love that, Lisa said, a tear rolling down her cheek, but this time it wasn't just sadness, it was relief. Just one more chance, please. As Emily nodded, they both felt a shift, a glimmer of hope igniting. She climbed into the cab. With one small decision, the turbulence of their past began to weave into the fabric of a shared future. As the taxi pulled away, a sense of daring filled the air. Emily could not ignore the swirl of emotions within her. It wasn't just the past she was confronting. It was the promise of the person she could become with her mother by her side. "Where do we even start?" she asked, casting a glance at Lisa, but in that moment of anticipation, a cell phone buzzed violently from the front seat, cutting through their fragile hope like glass shattering. The driver's expression shifted, a mix of fear and surprise crossing his face. "Hey, this isn't good." There's breaking news. Emily's heart raced as she leaned forward, asking, "What is happening?" The driver turned to them, his expression grave. "You might want to see this." What now loomed in the air felt heavier than anything they had ever faced before. The driver's phone blinked with urgency, and he quickly turned up the volume on the radio. Static crackled before the announcer's tense voice filled the cab, breaking the moment like a wave crashing against stones. "Breaking news, a shocking revelation has just emerged regarding the president's personal life. Reports indicate that the First Lady has discovered she has a biological daughter who was given up for adoption over 20 years ago." Emily's breath caught in her throat. She exchanged a bewildered glance with Lisa, neither of them quite absorbing what they had just heard. "What? That's insane," Emily managed, her mind racing. "How is that even possible?" "It's a lot to unpack," Lisa said, her own expression a mixture of disbelief and curiosity. "What do you think it means for the First Lady? Maybe it means she can reunite with her daughter." Emily spit the words out, her heart drumming with a sudden intensity. "But what if the daughter doesn't want to meet her? Or what if she has a family already? I can't imagine what that must feel like," Lisa whispered, staring out the window as the lights of the city flickered past like memories waiting to surface. "That could be life-changing," Emily interrupted, the adrenaline pushing her thoughts toward their own situation. "Look at us. We're here, dealing with our own past. And now this?" The driver nodded, keeping his eyes on the road. "It's a rough world out there. People have so many complicated stories, and it changes everything when they come to light." Emily reflected on the layers of their own tangled past, the years of hurt, absence, and now this chance for something new. Could they find a path forward in the shadow of someone else's revelation? "Do you ever wonder if my story could take a turn like that?" she asked Lisa, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if we found out something that changed everything? Something that helps us and hurts us?" Lisa squeezed Emily's hand, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "It's scary to think about, but it's also freeing. Change can be a chance we never expected. Maybe this news, maybe it's a sign for us to be brave." As the taxi navigated through the busy streets, conflicting emotions knotted in Emily's chest. One part of her wanted to dive into this new reality, to understand how life could unfold in unexpected ways. Another part held her back, fearing that each step closer to her mother might lead to more heartache. Just then, the driver turned the radio up even louder. And now, exclusive footage from outside the White House, as the First Lady prepares to address the nation about this shocking paternity revelation. Sources say emotions are running high, and there's a chance she may reach out to her daughter publicly. Emily leaned closer, her curiosity piquing as she caught a glimpse of the First Lady on the screen. There was a fearlessness in her eyes that Emily admired, a rawness that reminded her of the conversation unfolding in the back of the cab. What if I wanted to reach out?" Emily asked abruptly, her heart pounding in time with the driver's tapping fingers. "To someone I don't know, to someone who might change everything. Is that even possible?" Lisa met her gaze with an intensity that sent ripples of determination through the air. "It is possible, Em. But it starts with us." Just then, the taxi came to a sudden stop, the tires screeching on pavement. Emily's pulse quickened as they turned to see what was happening. Outside, a crowd had gathered, a thrumming anticipation palpable in the air. News crews were setting up, capturing every frantic moment as people clamored for answers. "Looks like things are about to get even wilder," the driver said, his voice mixing amusement with concern. Emily felt the weight of her decision pressing down harder with every second. They were at a crossroads, the desire to step forward mingled with the fear of losing her grasp on the life she knew. What if right now is the time to confront everything? Emily breathed, her thoughts swirling around her like leaves dancing in the wind. What if but? As she struggled to find the words, a figure moved through the crowd that drew the attention of everyone. Emily squinted, recognizing the unmistakable silhouette from the television that it wasn't just anyone. It was the First Lady herself, stepping out of the car and approaching the packed throng, determination radiating from her every step. What does this mean? Emily wondered aloud, her heart pounding, a flurry of emotions erupting within her, and in that moment, she realized, they were graphing new chapters in lives that were infinitely tangled, each yearning for connection, each hiding a multitude of stories waiting to be told. With the weight of her past swirling with the gravity of potential futures, Emily could only hold her breath and await whatever revelation was on the brink of being unveiled. What lay ahead could change everything, but would it? The crowd outside the White House seemed to breathe as one. As the First Lady stepped into sight, the tension crackled like electricity, drawing Emily in. Instinctively, she leaned forward, her pulse racing. Was this the moment that could reshape everything? The camera zoomed in, capturing the expression on the First Lady's face. It was a mask of resolve, but Emily noticed the flicker of vulnerability in her eyes. This was a woman standing at the edge of revelation, much like her. There was a humanity to her, exposing remnants of pain and hope. "I can't look away," Lisa murmured, her grip tightening around Emily's hand. "Me neither," Emily responded, barely able to breathe. On the screen, the First Lady was adjusting her microphone, glancing down at the papers in her hands, her breaths deep as if counting down to something monumental. "Good evening," she began, her voice steady yet clearly holding back a tide of emotion. "Today, I stand before you not only as your First Lady but as a mother who has discovered something extraordinary about her past." The crowd erupted into a mix of gasps and cheers, a chorus of voices shouting questions. Emily's mind raced alongside the First Lady's words. What would she say? What would it mean for her daughter? For us? For all of us, Lisa nodded in swift agreement, her eyes locked on the screen. Every one of us has secrets, wounds. She's about to dive into that. As a nation, we've faced difficult times, the First Lady continued, her gaze sweeping over the crowd, each word stitching threads of connection. And we're often reminded of the paths we didn't take, the loved ones we lost along the way. Emily's heart beat faster. The First Lady wasn't just talking about her own daughter. It felt personal, a reminder that wrapped around Emily's own words just moments before. What if she had choices waiting just at the door of her past? And so, with an open heart, I wish to embrace this new chapter. I hope to meet my daughter. The sentence hung in the air, a soft but piercing whisper of longing. Emily felt the tears prick at her eyes, the weight of shared pain settling thickly like fog. Does she even know about her? Lisa whispered, the question lingering, but they both understood the unspoken complexities hidden beneath the surface. Emily wrestled with her own thoughts. The First Lady's words resonated deep within her, awakening something she thought long buried, a challenge, an invitation. Could I really reach out? She thought, fear and hope twisting within her like a storm. The camera shifted, capturing the First Lady's brave face, resolute yet tinged with apprehension. If my daughter is out there, her voice faltered but regained strength, I want her to know she is loved, no matter the years that have passed. The audience leaned in, their emotions palpable on the breeze. This is huge, Emily said breathlessly. The moment felt sacred, connecting strangers through shared vulnerability. The crowd responded with applause, but there was a notable undercurrent of murmurs, speculation about the daughter's identity, the implications of this revelation. Emily understood why. It felt like stepping into the unknown, full of risks yet bursting with possibility. Everything was about to shift, and Emily thought about her own mother, her own unanswered questions rippling through her mind. Would she want to confront her past? To face the unknown, the First Lady turned, addressing the crowd once more. I know this journey won't be easy, but I'm prepared. I will seek my daughter with everything I have. Can we be that brave too? Emily turned to Lisa, gnawing her lip. This isn't just about her, it's about us. Do we chase after the truth? Before Lisa could respond, the taxi driver's voice broke through the tension. You ladies about ready to go? Looks like it's gonna be a long night out here. Emily met Lisa's gaze, and she knew the answer wasn't just about the taxi. It was about courage. Emily could feel the pulse of the crowd, the excitement igniting around her, the chance for connection pulsing in the air like a promise, with her. Heart racing, Emily took a deep breath, finally feeling the stirrings of resolve rising within. Maybe, just maybe, this was her moment too. Let us go, she said, a sense of purpose in her tone, the path to her own future lying just ahead. I need to find out who I am. As they stepped out of the cab, the anticipation hung thick, and amidst the bright lights and murmurs of hope, she thought, life-changing decisions awaited her, just beyond the horizon, but was she truly ready to take that step? The streets pulsed with energy as Emily and Lisa wove through the crowd, the cheers of hope swirling around them like confetti. Every footstep felt heavy yet exhilarating, the weight of possibility anchoring them to this moment. The First Lady had bravely opened a door, and now Emily's heart thudded with the realization that she, too, stood at a threshold. This is it, she murmured, half to herself, half to Lisa as they threaded through the throngs of people. Camera flashes illuminated the night, capturing faces, capturing futures. Emily felt a surge of longing rise in her chest, urging her forward. What do you think she'll find? Lisa asked, her eyes alight with curiosity. There was a spark of camaraderie, a shared understanding that whatever lay ahead could alter the course of their lives each in their own way. I don't know, Emily admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. But I have to find out who I really am first. It felt strange to say it aloud, an unveiling of her own inner turmoil. They found a quiet corner against a brick wall, the din of the crowd fading slightly, as if the world had narrowed to just the two of them. I wish I could be that brave, Lisa said, looking down, revealing the familiar struggles etched on her face. To just go after what I want. Maybe we can be brave together, Emily suggested, feeling the warmth of friendship wrap around her like a shawl. Their lives were tangled with the threads of their past choices, moments that were messy yet vibrant. What if we made a pact? To confront whatever has been holding us back. Lisa looked up, hope flickering in her blue eyes. You mean like a commitment to seek out our truths? Exactly, Emily replied, her heartbeat matching the urgency in her voice. For me, it's about understanding my family, my roots. And for you? The question hung in the air, stirring a whirlwind of emotions. I sometimes think about my dad, Lisa confessed, her voice cracking just slightly. He walked away when I was just a kid. Maybe if I reached out, I could find him. Emily felt a wave of empathy wash over her. Why not? Life is too short to sit back and wonder what if. The boldness of their conversation ignited a fire within her. Let us do it. Let us reach out. Let us not live in shadows anymore. As they shared a quiet moment of mutual understanding, Emily's mind drifted to the darkness of uncertainty. A million what-ifs clawed at her insides. What if the truth hurt? What if she wasn't ready? Yet in her heart, she also felt hope blossom. What if revelation brought freedom? A deeper connection to her past and potential futures. Okay, Lisa finally said, determination brightening her expression. Okay, let us find our truths. They stepped out from the shadow of uncertainty into the night, the vibrant city a testament to the lives waiting to be uncovered. With their hearts synchronized to the rhythm of a new beginning, the promise of courage pushed them forward. Just then, a loud cheer from the crowd beckoned them to return, the First Lady still at the forefront, sharing stories of love and connection. It was a reminder of what lay ahead, the steps they needed to take not just for themselves but for the lost pieces of their own stories. Emily felt a rush of clarity wash over her. "I'm ready," she declared, her voice steady. "I have to find out where I belong." As they stepped back into the wave of voices and lights, a newfound fire ignited in her. Yet, the question loomed large on the horizon: what if the answers they sought were more complex than the dreams they dared to chase, and would they still want to uncover those truths when they did? The crowd surged around them, colors and sounds blending into a vibrant tapestry. Emily could feel the electric energy pulsating beneath her skin, but uncertainty rippled through her thoughts. The strong urge to discover her past collided with the fear of what those discoveries might reveal. "Let us get closer," Lisa suggested, breaking Emily's trance. She swayed slightly, the rhythm of the crowd guiding them as they pushed forward, their pact echoing in the depths of both their hearts. The First Lady stood in a spotlight, framed by towering bright lights and surrounded by eager faces. She was sharing stories of resilience, echoing the struggles Emily and Lisa faced every day. With each word, she seemed to draw the audience closer, igniting sparks of hope that flew like fireflies into the night. "Listen to that!" Emily exclaimed, catching the infectious spirit of the moment. People around them leaned in, nodding in agreement, sharing their own tales of courage, healing, and belonging. It felt like a collective heart beating, a unity that defied individual turmoil. "What if we told her our stories?" Lisa suggested, her voice bursting with excitement. "Could you imagine?" Emily laughed nervously, the idea lighting up her imagination. "Like, hey, First Lady, we want to find our lost families." But deep down, the thought chilled her. What if their courage wasn't enough? What if they failed? "Let us just take a moment and breathe," Lisa said, sensing Emily's unease. "We're in this together." The warmth of their friendship wrapped around them, easing the tension in Emily's chest. She took a deep breath, her eyes sweeping over the crowd. Everyone shared one common thread: they were all seeking something, whether it was love, belonging, or the courage to confront their pasts. As the crowd erupted in cheers, Emily's thoughts spiraled. What would she even ask? Where would she start? And what if she found out things about her family that turned everything she knew upside down? Suddenly, a little girl in front of them caught Emily's attention. With scruffy hair and a bright smile, the child raised a handmade sign that read "Love knows no bounds." The innocence of that moment cut through Emily's swirling doubts. This was about connection, about moving forward, not about dwelling on the past. "Hey, look at that," Lisa pointed, and Emily smiled, feeling hope flickering back to life. They watched the girl dance, riding the waves of laughter and joy that enveloped them both. Emily turned back to Lisa, who held her gaze with a steady intensity. "No more holding back, okay?" Lisa said firmly, determination shining in her eyes. "Once we leave here, we have to take steps. Even the smallest one counts." Emily nodded, feeling a surge of solidarity wash over her, an unspoken promise to conquer their fears together. As the event drew to a close, applause filled the air and Emily grabbed Lisa's hand. "Let us write our letters tonight." "Right. And we'll promise each other to send them by the end of the week," Lisa replied excitedly, a spark igniting in her eyes. With renewed determination, they set out of the thrumming crowd, buoyed by the sense of possibility that spilled from their hearts. But just as they turned the corner, a figure stepped into their path. A stranger, with a familiar face, someone who seemed to have stepped right out of Emily's dreams. "Emily?" The woman called softly, and at that moment, everything shifted. Who was she? And what did she want? With her heart racing, Emily knew she had just crossed another threshold, one that might unlock secrets she wasn't prepared for. Emily felt the world around her blur, her heart pounding in her chest like a racing drum. The woman standing before her looked so familiar, yet the name hung like a weight in the air. Who was this stranger who called her name? "Emily." "It's me," the woman said, stepping forward. "It's your grandmother, Marie." Recognition dawned like the sun breaking through clouds. Emily blinked, processing the rush of emotions washing over her. Her grandmother. The very woman who had raised her mother. Grandma? She whispered, disbelief coloring her tone. But I thought you were, I thought, lost. Marie finished, her voice gentle yet firm. I never lost you. I've been searching for you, just waiting for the right moment to reach out. Your mother deserves to know you, and you deserve to know her. Emily's breath hitched, and she exchanged a glance with Lisa, who stood beside her like a pillar of support. Marie's hands shook with emotion. Why now? Emily finally breathed, her heart a whirlwind of tangled hopes and questions. Why after all this time? Marie took a shaky breath. Because you deserve answers. We all do. I never wanted to keep you in the dark about your mother. Her eyes brimmed with sincerity. And just like everyone else in that crowd out there, you have a right to seek connection, to uncover the truth of your own story. Lisa's grip tightened around Emily's hand, grounding her in this surreal moment. The event, the First Lady's revelation, and now this twist of fate unfolded before her, pulling her into a world where everything she thought she knew was suddenly up for reconsideration. Mom and I never had the chance to share everything, Marie continued, emotion thick in her voice. But she loved you fiercely, even from afar. That's why I stayed close to this diner, to your mom's roots. Emily felt tears prick her eyes, overwhelmed both by the revelation and the warmth racing through her veins. What if she doesn't want to see me? Emily murmured, her voice quaking with vulnerability. Everyone just expects everything to be perfect, but what if it isn't? What if she's angry, or what if she's moved on? Marie stepped forward, wrapping her arms around Emily in a hug so longed for, it felt like home. You don't have to have all the answers now. Just take that first step. The truth is messy, but it can lead to something beautiful. Just like that dinner party tonight. Life isn't perfect, it's about making choices. Just like the First Lady said, Lisa interjected, eyes sparkling with newfound determination, this is an opportunity. We can reach for connection as well. Emily pulled back, anchoring herself in the fire they ignited together. What if we take a chance? She breathed, heart racing as possibilities unfolded before her, reaching out, meeting her mother, learning to be a family. That's what we've always envisioned. Besides, you have your grandmother beside you. I'm right here too, Lisa added, a fierce radiance glimmering in her eyes. We go together. We face whatever comes next. As these words washed over her, Emily felt a spark of courage igniting in her chest. Okay, she stated, a new resolve building with each letter of the word. I'm ready. For my past, for my future. Then let us find a cafe so we can talk, Marie suggested, pride shining through her warmth. We can create new memories together. You won't have to face this alone. Feeling buoyed by the fragile bond forming between them, Emily nodded, taking in the community surrounding her as they stepped toward the cafe. The vibrant energy of their shared stories began to envelop them, and Emily could already taste the promise of new beginnings. As they walked together, a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter who would forge ahead as one, Emily could feel the heaviness of her past retreating, leaving space for the warmth of new connections. This wasn't just about who she had been but who she could become, driven by love and acceptance. In that moment, everything felt right, balanced in a way she had never experienced before. She reached for Lisa's hand, squeezing it tightly as they crossed the threshold into the cafe, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, filled with love, connection, and the undeniable power of family. As they settled into a cozy booth, surrounded by the mingling scents of fresh coffee and warm pastries, Emily turned to Marie, tell me everything. And as the words spilled forth like sunlight breaking through clouds, a sense of belonging enveloped them, uniting them in a bond woven through shared histories. They were ready to own their stories, to reshape their futures, and more importantly, to hold on to one another as family. And just like that, the horizon sparkled with possibility, illuminated by the heartwarming reality that love, no matter how lost, can always be found again. Now, if this inspiring new chapter in their lives has resonated with your heart and you want more stories of transformation, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm with your love and make sure that others see these uplifting stories too. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. And most importantly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support means everything.